those crackers?
You betcha.
I'm gonna wear my number 12.
Yeah, I get that.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Jules is back there waiting like crazy. I don't know what she's trying to tell me. Oh, yes, we're supposed to be working. Good morning, Unity.
Good morning.
And good morning to all of you out in La La Land. And glad to have you with us today. So I read this little reflection today, and it said, don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go and do that, because what the world needs is people who come alive. Anybody know who said that? That would be Howard Thurman. So today then, I make a sincere inquiry into the truth of my being, asking, what gives meaning to my life and how do I activate it? In faith then, I wait upon the Lord. I give thanks for the answers that come from the power and the potentiality within me. I take this holy charge into the world. Love is made visible. Thank you, God. Forever. Amen. So, we have an abundance of announcements today, which I think I hit on myself. One of the things that I would like to ask and remind people, there is a note on our door that says if you have not been vaccinated, to please wear a mask. I would like to ask you to honor that, and if you are not vaccinated, wear a mask. Eventually, I know that that's going to fade out of our vernacular, but for now, it's still in. And one of the things that I would like to mention regarding all of the flu and COVID flu, some of us get a flu vaccination, some of us don't. Those of us who don't get a flu vaccination do not have to wear a mask. Eventually, the flu is going to stay. Unfortunately, some people will die from the flu. Eventually, COVID is going to stay. Some people will get a booster each year, some people won't. So I think it's time that we just take a deep breath and relax a little bit into it, but still, as COVID is in the pandemic verbiage, let us respect each other, and if you have not had a shot, please wear a mask. Okay, that's what I'd like to see on that. Okay, so what's new? Thank you, Tom and Marianne Kloiber today, and Sandy Alexander. Carrie Smith is not here today. She's not feeling well. And so as it's her day to do the kitchen, the cake is down there, the fruit is down there, and the veggies are down there. But maybe we could all pitch in and get it out to each other and clean up the kitchen because Carrie is not with us today. Okay, the Untethered Soul continues. Boy, for those of you that are here, we are just having fun with that class, learning a lot about each other and discovering. So again, noon to 1:30 on Wednesday and 6 to 7:30 Wednesday night. And if you miss the morning, you can go at night. And if you miss the night, you can go in the morning. Christmas speakers. Do you have a favorite, profound, or funny Christmas story you'd like to share? If you do, there's a sign-up sheet in the back, and on the 12th of December, we will be doing Christmas carols and stories, and that's what our Sunday is going to be about, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, so please do that. Holiday celebrations. Okay, start getting your calendars ready. That's because a lot of people do a lot of work behind the scenes to make all this happen. So it's really important that you guys show up. So November 21st, breaking bread. I found a beautiful ceremony that we're going to be doing with breaking bread. And I would definitely like for you all to be here and share that with each other. And then November 28th, tree trimming and decorating. Now, before you go, ugh, again, the big, huge tree is gone. Tom, let it go. And all those big ball things that went on it are gone. So I would just like to say that there is a new tree here. It is downstairs. And Tom was so upset because he's not going to be here on the 28th. He's going to be in Appleton speaking. So therefore, I'm asking John Orks to take over Tom's job as being part of the putting up the tree team. Would you do that for us?
Are you putting me on the spot here?
So guys, all plan on staying after. We're gonna get a whole bunch of pizza and we're gonna eat pizza, put up the tree. It's a normal tree. It's only one piece into another and another. It's done. Put on the lights and let's decorate it and let's have fun. Okay. All right. And then December 19th, our Christmas festival celebration. So get those dates on your calendar and be sure to be here and stay. But Tom, we will have you here when we take the tree down, right? So doing all of that. And so birthdays, well, we used to do those in the end, but we're going to do them now. So we have Aaron. Aaron has a birthday. Rose, I saw her last night. She has a birthday. Kit Carlson, Brenda Schreiber. Sherry Mickelson, Veronique has a birthday, and Renee Makuda. So let's do happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear friends, happy birthday to you. Spirits blessing you now, spirits blessing you now. Spirits blessing you, you're wonderful. Spirits blessing you now. Okay, happy birthday. We do have a beautiful birthday cake downstairs, so make sure that you join us after. Men's Fellowship, November 13th at 9:30, and Women's Circle of Friends, November 20th, 9:30, and one thing that's missing from here is we have a meeting after service right away to talk about holiday music. So all of you that either have some ideas or are musically inclined can sing, dance, and stand on your head, come and join the meeting. Oh, it is right here. I'm sorry, Julie. Right there, call to action. Today, 11:30, talented musicians, singers. Okay. All righty. All of that. Did all of that, and Sherry and Mark aren't here yet. Yes.
And Reverend Sunny Bain will be here next week. I don't have.
Okay, yes, I'm in Appleton next week. As you know, their minister, they don't have a minister right now, so they're asking for help. So I'm there next week, and then in 2 weeks, Tom is there, which I'm really honored about that. I think it's wonderful that they reached out to our Tom. So congratulations. Okay, so let us do our opening song, Music of the Morning. Please stand.
Oh, you stupid thing. Go.
As I awake, a symphony is playing right outside my door. I start the day listening to the beauty of the world reborn. A sweet melody calls to me, finding my senses with joy. The birds sing in celebration. The wind whispers through the trees. Sometimes I hear raindrops falling, gently recalling a rhapsody. I'm so grateful for the music of the morning. The light breaks through, washing over all creation with its warmth. Through my window pane, illuminating life in my beloved's face. My heart feels the bliss of gratefulness for all of these blessings I know. The birds sing in celebration. The wind whispers through the trees. Sometimes I hear raindrops falling, gently recalling a rhapsody. I'm so grateful for the music of the morning. Thank you, Father Son, for giving us light. Thank you, Mother Moon and the stars, for illuminating the night sky. Thank you, every tree and plant, for giving us air to breathe. Thank you, creatures, great and small, for sharing this earth with us, for being our companions. My heart feels the bliss of gratefulness for all of these blessings we know. The birds sing in celebration. The wind whispers through the trees. Sometimes I hear raindrops falling, gently recalling a rhapsody. I'm so grateful for the music of the morning. I am so grateful for the music of the morning.
Please be seated. John, we do have a mask in here. Steve needs a mask.
Oh,
I just thought I'd let you know.
okay.
Okay, and now I would like to invite Tom Clover to read the word and light the Christ candle and light the flames of faith for us. Tom.
Thank you, Reverend Berlin. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
The daily word for today is rest. Rest refreshes and renews me. Rest restores me and gives me energy to be fully present in the world. When I push myself too hard, I feel worn down and depleted with little to give to myself or others. But when I rest, not only do I recharge my body, I recharge my whole being. Respite replenishes the capacity to handle the daily ups and downs of life. Rested, I can more easily practice patience and kindness with myself and everyone else I encounter. Rest is vital to well-being, so I make time to slow down and take breaks. I seek support when I need it and accept it gratefully. As I care for myself and prioritize rest and sleep, I am restored and free to share my best self. In the stillness of rest, I experience the peace and tranquility that rejuvenates me. And from Hebrews 4:10, for those who enter God's rest also cease from their labors, as God did from his. We light the Christ candle today again as a reminder that Christ's Spirit shines in us, and for that we can be ever grateful.
And as we perform the Flames of Faith ceremony, we do this to promote universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people, all faiths, and all sentient beings come from the one great universal principle, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. So as Tom lights the first candle, we light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge and action and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. And we light a candle, of course, for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of the universal spiritual principles. And the last candle that we light that candle for all those who are yet unaware of the power and the presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space that we're holding for them here in this center, and for all religions unnamed in this ceremony.
And we are always praying, our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying, to higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. See a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
That's okay. We're just going into the talk. So, author Micheal Singer of the Untethered Soul takes us on a journey to understand how to awaken your consciousness. Now, there are students in here, so if I ask a question, I expect an answer. So listen up. How many of you in here are doing the Untethered Soul? Let's see that's really great. We have 8 people in the morning class and 4 in the night class, and it's been a great learning experience. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So to begin this awakening then, he identifies the voice in your head is something that never stops. Does any of you have a voice in your head that is continually babbling along? Is it Mike going, yeah. Yeah, right. And it just keeps going and going and going. So in a short period of time, and it's like, just take you briefly through where we are until we get to this inner thorn that's sticking in our side. So the voice in your head, Singer says, it's not us. It is not us, and we do not have to listen to it. And he tells us it could possibly be a crazy lunatic running your life. So, yeah, think about that. So when you're having this dialogue, and this part of your head saying this, and this is saying this, and blah, 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 could that possibly be a lunatic in there running your life? And I, for one, say yes. Any of you can identify with this in here?
No.
Yeah, for sure. So this is where this conscious awareness then comes into play. So the more that we can step back then and realize that you can witness the voice. You can witness the voice, but know it's your mind ranting and raving. And the sooner that you take control of your mind, the sooner you can stop the ranting and raving and make it more of a positive thing. So the voice is actually narrating the world for you. It's like a backseat driver. So instead of you thinking, the voice is saying, the traffic is over and that person almost cut me off, and God, I hate drivers, and I hope I get to church on time, and then right? It keeps going. It's that backseat driver telling you what's happening every minute, rather than you already knowing it and just being in the present moment. Present moment, as in I passed a tree, passed a stop sign. It's a beautiful day. Present moment. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So the book then, The Untethered Soul, is the practice of true awareness. And we always know, what's ABC? Who knows ABC?
Awareness brings consciousness.
You just love it. Awareness brings consciousness, right? ABC, awareness brings consciousness. It's not the other way around. Awareness brings consciousness. So this is about the deep calls into the deep, and that's Psalms 42, verse 8. The deep calls into the deep. And this is what we are doing in this class. We're going deeper and deeper, because within each human soul, there's this longing for more, this thirst that can only be quenched by healing the separation in your life from your Creator. You were born with this beautiful bonding together. There was no separation, and through our life, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And what we want to do is come back to where I was before I was even born. So to continue this journey, then you might have to begin to realize you actually have a roommate living in your head. And my question to you is, how much space are you going to rent it? How much space? And what are you charging? Or the better question is, what is it taking from you while it's there? And it's taking your peace and your calm and your life. So if you would like to meet this roommate, just try today, when you leave here, just try to sit quiet, be by yourself, sit in the silence, and then right on cue, there's your roommate, babbling on about everything it can think of. Not what you can think of, but what it can think of. So you just step back and you say, what is your problem today? So in our class, each one of us named that roommate. Mine is Babel. So I tell Babel now to knock it off and leave me alone, right? So this is where Singer says you finally realize you've been locked in with a maniac. You're locked in with a maniac. So this conscious awareness then is something that we can say, okay.
That's remarkable.
Conscious awareness, push it through, walk past it, go back to the present moment. Thank you, right on cue, you did that. So conscious awareness then is that you have this voice, and sometimes it's a positive, beautiful thing. You get up in the morning on Sunday, and you know that you want to come to the center, and so you start your day in peace and just say, so the voice can say, be aware of your time, and that's okay, and everything is peaceful, right? And then you trip over the dog's water dish, first of all, and as you do that, you spill your coffee, and then your mate isn't getting ready and still laying in bed, and then the voice takes over. If only you would have gotten up on time. If only you would have this. If only you would have this. But conscious awareness says, step back. Tell it to stop. Wipe up the water. Fix the coffee pot. Clean. Tell your person to get out of bed. And come back. So what he talks about is pushing through things. So this thing happened, the water dish fell over, the coffee fell over, your husband and wife, partner's in bed. All of that is happening, but it's a beautiful day. Push through it, move on. Don't make each little thing in your life a big deal. Don't let the voice in your head ramble on and on and on and how inefficient, is that a word? You are, well, you know what I mean anyhow. So, and all of the things that I could have, should have, would have done, let that voice stop. Let it stop. See, when we move to understand that we must take back our own mind, think about that. Step back. Observe that the mind is what it's saying, and realize how much energy that takes from you. And that energy isn't the food and calorie energy, it's that inner energy that's inside of you. And it's robbing you of this beautiful day. It robs you of the day. So opposing thoughts in our mind can exhaust you, and emotions can deplete your energy. I mean, how many of you have been fine and then you get upset about something, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, you have no energy left. That type of energy is caused from closing down your heart. You get upset over something, I get upset over something, the energy drops, your body drops, your head drops down, and then you're exhausted. You're exhausted. So when we close our heart, we close our mind, and that's when we move into the darkness. Once you closing down heart, closing down mind, you move into the darkness. And then the ego says, well, we're not closing down that mind. I'm going to tell you everything that's wrong with you. Right? I'm going to tell you everything you've ever done, how dumb you are, how heavy you are, how skinny you are, how tall you are, how everything you are. I'm going to tell you everything about you since time began. And your heart closes more and more and more. So we know that there's energy centers in our body, right? We know that from the 12 powers. We know that from the chakras. We know from all of the Eastern type of, what do you call those things that you do? Yoga and the yogas. But the most familiar energy that we have in our bodies is our heart. Our heart. And we're most familiar with our heart. So Marianne Williamson tells us when we speak from our minds, others hear with their minds. But when we speak with our hearts, others hear with their hearts. So when you're in communication, what kind of communication would you like? Genuine, authentic, transparent conversation, or mind to mind? right? Which would you rather have? Right? So if we close down our heart space then the mind controls all interactions, and that's not good because it starts to babble again. So how can we speak then from love and kindness if our hearts are closed? Can't. We just can't. See, the heart feels and leads the mind, and this is what we've discovered in our class. Really, the heart feels first before the mind ever takes over. So if we learn to listen to our heart, listen to my heart, listen to it sing, it wants to tell you everything. And that's from a song that I happen to love. Listen to my heart, listen to it sing. It wants to tell you everything. Don't let the mind come in and grab that feeling and make it dissipate. So there's no light, no energy, nothing flowing when the mind takes over. The mind, the ego. And yes, the mind can be positive and beautiful when we control it, not when it controls us. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Are you with me? Okay, great. So how do we open up our hearts again? So we have to learn there's this secrets of the spiritual heart. This is our spiritual heart. And very few people understand this. Oh my God, darn. Okay, never mind. So in truth then, our heart is a masterpiece of creation. Think about this. All light flows through our heart. Our heart is as intelligent as our brain. Our heart is what sends the messages. Our heart is what pumps light completely through us. So you can think about this. You can hear an instrument, right? You hear an instrument playing, you can hear it, okay? But you feel in your heart. Now, if you think you can feel an instrument, what's happening? Right, because it's touched your heart. How many of you, when Rodney was singing last week, okay, you heard Rodney singing last week, correct? But how many of you felt it in your heart? Right, all of you that were here, absolutely. And that's what it is. That's why your heart is so important. It is the barometer. It is what's telling you what's really going on. Right? So as the voice in your head is not you, it's something that you're experiencing. It's just the same with your heart. You are not your heart. You are the experience of your heart. So if your heart is guiding you and leading you, then follow that experience of your heart and be one with it. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So you are not your heart. You experience your heart because the heart is an energy center. It's a chakra, right? It's a chakra. So Philmar tells us this: the heart is love, the affectional consciousness of man. The affectional consciousness of man. That's just exactly what Singer is telling us, that we have to go back to consciousness and to be aware. So if this is true, then we must keep the heart open. If this is the affectional consciousness of man, then we have to keep it open, right? So he goes on to say, Fillmore goes on to say, it is the faculty through which mankind receives love from being, with a capital B. We receive love through spirit, God, creation, whatever you want to call it, right? The heart then, however, is but the visible expression of an invisible center of consciousness. Consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. It all comes back to being aware. Awareness brings
Consciousness.
Absolutely. So in this chapter then on the heart, we're learning of allowing things to pass through so there's no blockage, so blockage doesn't occur. So if you're disturbed by a little thing because you knocked over the dog dish and you spilled the coffee and your husband's laying in bed annoying you. So then if you're disturbed by all of this, are you going to make it a big deal and put a blockage in your heart and start this beautiful day on one foot? Or let it pass through. Let it just pass through. And that's what this whole thing is about. It's awareness meant being in the now. I'm going to tell you something in a minute about that. But being in the now isn't like, okay, I'm in the now, I'm here, I'm with all of you guys, I'm present, I'm fully present here and now. That's not what being in the now means. It means that this has happened and then it's passed through and then now I'm experiencing this getting in my car and it's a beautiful drive and it's passing through and I'm in church and I say hello to my friends and all of it is just passing through. Awareness brings consciousness. That's what's being in the now, living in the moment, not this paralyzed, okay, I'm in the now, I am now. It's kind of silly, right? Right? It is. But does that make sense what I'm saying to you? Being in the now is experiencing and passing through and experiencing and passing through to the next thing. And this is how our system, how our body is actually meant to work. This is how it works. It's meant to take things in, allow them, experience them, and then let them pass through so that you're ready for the next present moment. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? It's a great system when it's working. It's a great system when it's working. So what you want in life is experience after experience after experience. But when we hold on, we get stuck. Stuck, and that's where the challenges and the problems begin. I can't wait to get here today. I want to tell you, Patty, what Susan Smith said to me. I can't wait to get in here and wait till Jules finds out. Oh, man. And you know who's not here today? And you know why? Oh, my God, right? That's not living in the present moment. That's living with a blocked heart, right? Do you see how silly this thing called life can be? How silly we can get, right? So there's unfinished business and this energy pattern, and it's called samskara. And it's a Sanskrit word. By the way, Sanskrit, I want you to know, I looked it up. Sanskrit, that's not how you pronounce it. You pronounce it Sanskrit. So I'm giving you the correct pronunciation today. Sanskrit, word meaning impression. So in yogic teaching, that it's considered one of the most important influences that affect our life because of samskara is blockage. It's blockage. An impression from the past that is sitting, and it's sitting within us. And energy never stops, energy keeps moving. So then if you have the blockage and energy keeps moving, what's happening? It's going around and around and around. Same story 5 years later, same story 10 years later, same story 20 years later. When are we gonna stop the same story? When do we stop that story? So these impressions, they're stored in our heart space, our heart center. It gets blocked, it shuts down, and it continually affects your life, continually. So Dr. Jim Lockhart, for those of you who were here when he was here, one of my dear colleagues and friends, he wrote an article on unfinished business. I'm very impressed, Mike, you picked it up already. I put some on the back table. And his opening sums up all that I just said. Obviously, I'm not going to read the whole article, it's long. But there's a word in here, a sentence I love. We in New Thought and the Human Potential Movement. You know, when I read that human potential movement, it made me think, this is the key to moving, changing our purpose here, our intention, our visions, missions, the human potential. I kept saying, what are we about? What's our purpose? Human potential. Do you guys love that? I know, say yes, make me happy.
Yes.
But right, the human potential movement. So he says, we in New Thought and the human potential movement hear a lot about living in the now. Okay? It is a sound spiritual principle. But like so many spiritual principles, it's often misunderstood. Love that. Some of our principles are misunderstood, definitely. So without going into a lot of detail, he says, let me say this. You cannot live completely in the now, and you cannot be happy in the now if you have unfinished business in the past.
The University of Maharishi, they have a program, a 4-year bachelor degree in human potential.
Our human potential, we need to talk about that. That's good to know. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. So there's some copies back there if you want one to take, because it's a really interesting article. But you cannot live happy in the now if you have unfinished business from the past. Because you don't know when it's going to trigger you. You don't know when something is going to trigger it and spark it. And then you think, damn, I thought I was done with that. And then here it comes up again. Push through it. Get out. See, the spiritual journey, Singer says, is one constant transformation. It's not true. You think, oh my God, I got this. So you guys take this class and you go, got it. It's all great, right? And you're all happy and I'm all happy. And then 3 weeks later, a trigger hits and then you go, oh God, I thought I got it. I didn't get it. And then we're back at the same place again. So let's really get it. So you have to want it to grow. You have to give it. I don't know about you. I'm tired of the struggle. You tired of the struggle? You know, I went out last night and it was frustrating at some point. Crowded and noisy and you know, it was whole like little things you could be annoyed about. You know, I'll just take a Tito's and club soda and lime and I'm going to just be happy. So, you know, but seriously, that isn't what I said. What I said was, whatever. It's not worth it. Because, okay, push through this. We're done with it. We're totally done with it, right? So there comes a point in each of our lives. And then another point once we master this point. And then another point. Because it's about transformation, so we keep moving on. You know, how did I become a minister? Kicking and screaming on my way to transformation. That's how you do it, because some of us are going, no way am I going to ever be doing this. That's ridiculous. But we keep getting to this point, and then this point, and then this point, and then all of a sudden, we're there. Real transformation begins when your problems become an agent for truth. That's when it comes. So now imagine you have a thorn in your side. Okay. Kind of think of that. That's right, Mike. You know, got a thorn in your side and it's hitting a nerve. It's like, really, whoa, right? It's hitting a nerve. What's the smart thing to do?
Take it out.
Take it out, of course, right? Take it out. But instead, so what we do is, well, you know, if I just make sure when I walk, I'm constantly moving that way so this doesn't hit the thorn in my side, right? So then when I got dressed today, so, well, you know, I had to put this on, but pull it out over here a little. So now this is out like this, and I get in the car, so I get in the car this way, so then if I take this in and put my phone that way, I could not hit that thorn in my side, so I don't hurt, right? And then when I get in here, oh, okay, I have to go down the stairs, and the stairs are this way. So if I move, I'll take these stairs because they're better. So I'm gonna move this way so that I don't hurt the thorn in my side. Ridiculous, right? Totally ridiculous. We'll do everything we can to stop the pain rather than taking the damn thorn out of your side, right? Any of you agree with me in here? Right? So it's like we find all the ways to protect ourselves. I don't want to deal with this right now. I just don't want to deal with it. So I'll just move and do all the things. Somebody in the class says, well, what happens when you get in bed with your partner? But we're not going to go there. But we're going to find not to hurt the thorn in your side. So, yeah, right?
Especially if he has a thorn on the other side.
Oh my God, so we have to have fun in here. So the truth is then that this thorn is running your whole life, just like the voice in your head is running your whole life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? This is what's happening. It affects everything you do, your decisions, where you work, what you think, who you hang out with, who your friends are, how you get along with people. So when it's all said and done, the thorn is running every aspect of your life along with the voice in your head. Now you have two of them going, right? Can you answer this for me? Why would anyone want to build their whole life around protecting the thorn? Right? You wouldn't. You wouldn't. So how do you free yourself? How do you free yourself? By burning through the pain. Marianne Williamson tells us that when the pain is the greatest, when the pain is the greatest, we're on the brink of the greatest realization. And that's the truth. And that's the truth. It's like, okay, something has to be done here. Something has to be done. I have to do something now. So you may be in this mild river of misery, but you realize that you're so much brighter and so much stronger than your ego. You are. We all are. We can rise above the constant observer of all that is around and through us. See, when the pain is burned out, instead of being numbed, it brings light to the surface. Brings light to the surface. So let us never doubt our ability to remove the root cause of disturbance inside us. I don't care how long it's there. Just give it up. Just give it up. Anytime we can look deep within the core of our being and decide that we're not going to live like this anymore. That's the day you decide. It might mean you have to do some stuff around that. And do it and be done with it. We need to remember that we are the subject and we're just observing these objects. You know, this is a table, this is a lectern, you know, over there are candles. I am the subject observing. We observe the voice in our head, right? We observe the pain of the past. We can let go. So free yourselves by finding yourself. And who are you? Okay, class, who are you?
Me.
Me, right. Who are you? Me. That's all you are. You're you. And unique, beautiful, spirit, child of God, you're me. That's all. You're just me. When you bring it down to, who are you? Well, I'm this, but who are you? Well, I'm this. Well, who are you? I'm this. Well, who are you? I'm me. I'm me. I'm just me. And transformation then begins to take place. Your life begins to feel like you're moving in a direction closer and closer to the spirit. And as you look in the mirror, you see that transformation. And you see with the eyes of your unique spiritual higher self. This is a direct experience of who you are. Greatness of who you are. Look in the mirror and see this unique, beautiful person that you are. So here's the bottom line. Here's what I have to say. The bottom line is this. Do you want to be happy?
Yes.
Once you make a choice, it's clear. So my advice to all of you pull out the thorn. So ends this lesson. Thank you. Now we have, we're always thinking, so can you bring in that song that says we're always thinking? Do we know what we're thinking about? And please stand.
I'm always thinking, you're always thinking. Do you really think what you think about? I'm always thinking, you're always thinking. Do you really think what you think about? Do you think love? Do you think peace? Do you think about joy and harmony? I know I'm always thinking, and you're always thinking. But do you really think what you think about? I know that thoughts and things I'm thinking always bring a perfect change into my life. There's only one supply, and when I change my mind, I see things in a brand new way. And then I bless the Spirit in me, release the love that is made. Give thanks and know. I think of you cause I am brand new and know I'm always thinking and you're always thinking. But do you really think what you think about? I wanna know. I'm always thinking and you're always thinking. Do you really think what you think about? Do you think love? Do you think peace? Do you think about joy and harmony? I know I'm always thinking, and you're always thinking. But do you really think what you think about? Thinking opens up the door, letting me know and so much more. I am that I am. See, love is all I am inside. Love and love, just go inside. Let love be the way. And then just bless the Spirit in you. Release the love that is you. Give thanks and know. I think of you cause I am brand new and know I'm always thinking and you're always thinking. Do you really think what you think about all day long? I'm always thinking and you're always thinking. Do you really think what you think about? Do you think love? Do you think peace? Do you think about joy and harmony? I know I'm always thinking, and you're always thinking. But do you really think what you think about? Wanna know, do you really think what you think about all day long? Do you really think what you think about? I know I'm always thinking, and you're always thinking. Do you really think what you think about? I know I'm always thinking, and you're always thinking.
Do you really think what you think about? Please be seated. Perfect song or what? I love it. Oh, and I want to thank all of you who continually support our center with time, talent, and tithe. And as you know, we do not do a collection anymore. The basket is in the back, and if you're so kind, please put your offering there. And for those of you in live streaming land, thank you so much for the gifts that you send in to us. It helps us keep our doors open and be able to be a viable asset to our community. So thank you very much. And if you would all do the offertory prayer with me. The love of God inspires me to give in a spirit of generosity. I give with love and joy to ensure the growth of this ministry and this unity center. And so it is. Thank you, God. And let's close with, he's got the whole world, or maybe it's she. Let's say, she. We, androgynous, him.
Whoops, come on.
Jules, you're fired.
I know, I'm firing myself, I don't know what happened. What is going
Never
on?
happened, never happened.
Oh. No.
I like that song, but that's not it either.
There it is.
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world. In his hands, he's got the whole wide world. In his hands, he's got the whole world. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, brother. In his hands, he's got you and me, sister. In his hands, he's got you and me, brother. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world. In his hands, he's got the whole wide world. In his hands, he's got the whole world. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got everybody here. In his hands, he's got everybody here. In his hands, he's got everybody here. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world. In his hands, he's got the whole wide world. In his hands, he's got the whole world. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands.
Oh, yeah. And the prayer protection, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. So as we leave here today, we just leave in holy, joyous celebration of a beautiful day, a beautiful Sunday, being surrounded by beautiful souls, the faces of God all around us. And we just take that out into the world and let it be our week, a week of celebration, joy, seeing the faces of God, celebrating that life is good. We move from one moment to the next moment, one experience to the next experience. Know that it's all good, it's all God, and we let it be so, and together we say, and so it is, amen, and it is done. Thank you. Have a blessed week, God bless, and we will see you next week. And for those of you that are staying